Hey guys, week 4 is over, and things are just about to get interesting. Because Tom Brady comes back this week, so I have a quarterback. And also, people's scores all over the place. Obviously, it was a huge week for anybody that had any Atlanta Falcons, namely Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Congratulations to those who had him this week. They obviously helped you out majorly. Mr. Rosencrantz, in fact, gets immunity because he had Julio Jones and scores 238.5 points this week, and beats my brother, who had 170. On the other end of that spectrum, Paul Barnett had the best quarterback this week. His name, Ben Roethlisberger. His problem, he scored almost half of Paul's points, 53.5 points. Paul only put up 111, so he falls out of the eliminator. Paul is eliminated, and he didn't have a chance anyways. He was facing Jason Gill, who put up 216 points again, and continues to probably be the strongest team in the league. And the strangest thing about him is he didn't even start Matt Ryan. He didn't need him. Saul Doan squeaked out a win, 148-139 over Rob. I squeaked out a win over Joe Vasile, 137-129. Dozer had an easy time as Tim didn't realize that Justin Forsett wasn't starting this week. Well, no one really realized it until about 2 minutes before the game, so unfortunately Tim got left in a hard spot. It wouldn't have mattered, 183-129. Dozer had a good week. And in the closest game of the week, Balky didn't have a heart attack, so that's good. He's still alive. 182-175, winning on the final play of Sunday night when Travis Kelce brought in a touchdown pass. We go to standings after 4 weeks. Where do we stand? Pun intended. In the Sizzly division, there's 2-2-2 teams. That's the Sales team, Saul and Dozer, both the 2-2, one game ahead of Tim Couch's Revenge and Joe Vasile. In my division, the Classic Cody division, cars on, cars off. That's Tim Falcone sits at 3-1. I sit at 2-2, and for the second time already this season, we'll face each other next week for first place in the division. Rob sits at 1-3. In the 24-ounce coffee division, there's a 2-2 leader in Jenkins Jump Shot, and then Mrs. Dozer and Sam Kamen Wentz are both 1-3. So we'll see if either of them those teams can get over 500 this week. The only remaining undefeated team, show me those TDs. That's Jason Gill. He's on fire. His team's unbelievable. I don't know. Maybe the only thing that might hurt him is his depth. He doesn't have much depth on the bench, but I guess we'll see. Balky Bears at 3-1, probably the second best team in the league. Unfortunately, he's in that same division, but there's always the wild card. And then Loud and Proud also 2-2. So that division is by far the strongest. Everybody 500 and over, and probably the best two teams in the league. So let's get to that. Instead of the whole rundown of the power rankings, I'm just going to do bottom 3, top 3. Who do I think the bottom 3 teams in the league are right now? Who do I think the top 3 teams in the league are? In the bottom 3 spots, well, after this week, I'm kind of thinking, is Paul's team really that bad? Maybe not yet, because there are 4 teams that are 1-3. Tim Couch's Revenge, I think he's obviously one of the ones that's struggling after the Adrian Peterson injury, though Mark Ingram did show some promise this week. So I put Joe Vasile, Rob Yates, last year's champion, and my brother probably is the bottom 3 right now. Gina's kind of on the border, but just because of my brother's injury issues, I think he goes into the bottom 3. In the top 3, I already talked about it. It's Jason Gill and Adam Balk. And I guess Tim. Those two just seem so far above everybody else right now that Tim's not really in the discussion, but he's the only other 3-1 team, so I'm going to give the nod to him. Dozer is kind of showing some promise, but we'll see what happens with Cam Newton. But he has Derek Carr's bench, so I'm going to go with the whole entire division right there. Show me your TDs, Balky Bears, and then I'm going to also go with Tim as the top 3. But like I said, it's pretty much Jason and Balky and then everybody else right now, so we'll see what happens. So we go to the scoreboard for this week. Preview some matchups. Like I said, the biggest matchup is probably the one between me and Tim to determine who's going to be first place of our division. And it's going to be really close as of projection totals, but they mean absolutely nothing, so who cares about those? Rob plays my brother. One of those teams will get their second win of the season. Saul Doan has to go up against Jason Gill. Sorry, Saul. Dozer will face Joe Vasile, and Dozer looks to be a big favorite in that one. And then a close matchup between 2 medium teams, Balky Bear and Loud and Proud. Well, I guess we'll see if Julio Jones can have another humongous week for Mr. Rosencrantz, because, well, if that happens, Balky might not stand a chance. But like I said, Balky's probably the deepest team in the league. And then Paul Barnett, trying to come off of a terrible week last week after getting eliminated, will face Gina. Right now, he's a big favorite, but it all depends on bye weeks and who fills in. So, that's the preview week 5. See who can stay alive, as 2 people have now been eliminated. Saul last week, Paul this week. Well, next week won't rhyme, but it will be someone different. So good luck, and again, Mr. Rosencrantz has immunity because of Julio Jones, so he doesn't have to worry about the eliminator this week. Take care.